Hey guys, I was looking at this guy's video. Let's talk money with Joseph Hoagie, um, who's a retired veteran. But he looked at 20 monthly stocks and this was his ranking. Um,
Consistency is what helped it here. And the number one monthly dividend stock, Main Street Capital Corporation, ticker M.
and you've heard me say this before. You know, the reason I like Maine is it's a real company. You know, like a lot of the the high yield monthly ones, they are not real companies. You know, a lot of times they have a lot of times really high expense ratios, and they use a lot of leverage, and they, you know, you don't own the underlying asset. You know, like, well, this is like a real company. Yeah, the yield is not great, but it's almost 7%. To me, that's really good. The P ratio is less than 10. You know, you get your money back in 10 years. Everything past 10 years is profit.
MAIN is going to pay a 7% dividend yield here. Looking through the dividend history, you can see it started there 2018 at 19.5 cents per share dividend, has consistently increased that each year, now paying 23 cents per share dividend. That dividend yield of 7% is still just a great.
But it's kind of funny that the best ones to own were some of the ones like that. This was one of my probably one of my favorites. But the only reason I had sold it was that I was down so much on BAK. I mean, I was down $5,000. So, and I really wasn't down anything on Maine. I had, you know, got the dividends, but the price had not moved much. Now I am down on real estate in general over the next couple of years. I think real estate will go down, but it's mainly the office real estate that's. But I mean, Main Street Capital has been a good company for a long time, and you can see their total return analyzed over past 5 years, almost a 10% return. The dividend growth rate, it's not high, it's, you know, 3.4%, but if inflation is normally 2%, it's going to go up. Land, which I own, I don't own a lot. I think I own $500 worth. It only yields 3%. It's actually closer to 4 now because it's been down so much. But that's just a safe play. Realty income is got a really high PE. I don't think this is really a deal, but it's probably the most popular monthly payer, and it's got an attractive yield. So it's kind of funny. You got me, this average Joe investor that, you know, I've been talking about Maine for a while, and I first heard about it in a Google. One thing I like about Google is they have these speakers that come and speak, and I remember listening to an investor presentation one time. And they had invested in this company called Maine, and their returns were something like 20%. for like 10 years or something. So so that's kind of how I got into Maine. But a lot of these monthly payers, they're really not very good companies. They're not. I think Maine is the exception to that. And a lot of the higher payers, anytime you're talking above 10%, it's the risk goes up a lot. I mean, I got SJT or whatever, but and that's a trust, so that's a little different. But eventually, that trust will go to zero, and hopefully, I recoup the expenses before that happens.
Rating of C, right around the average for our dividend yields, not high, not low. Dividend cuts 0 and 3.4% annualized dividend growth. So over that 5 years, it's grown it by an average of 3.4% a year. That's good enough for an A grade rating for each of those categories. Total return though, 9.4% a year over the last 5 years. It gives it a B in that group, and the number one monthly dividend stock with a 9.4% annualized total return. Main Street Capital is by far my favorite business development corporation, or BDC, and it shows you just how well the company is run when it's number one on this list, and no other BDC even came close. It's got a solid dividend yield along with consistency and growth. There's a lot to like in the stock. Get your fast 5-minute guide to analyze any stock free with the link below and know exactly.
But anyway, quick little video.